All right, great. Thank you all very much for being here today. It's June 12th, 2025, School Building Committee meeting. Mr. Ball, could you take the roll call, please?
Manager Golden,
Here.
Michael Vaughn,
Here.
Fred Bahu, Superintendent Skinner, Richard Underwood, Michael Fiato, Connor Baldwin, Mark Byrne, James Hall, Counselor Chow, David Peasley, William Samaras, Senator Kennedy,
Here.
No control.
John Leahy,
Power function. She agrees with me.
Representative Elliott,
I don't know.
Mariam Manzi, Jay Mason, Maria Sheehy, Maria Sheehy,
Here.
Yep.
Benjamin Opara, Erica Harvey,
Here.
John Haley, Paul St. Cyr, Representative Howard, Kendrick Delorbe, Janica Lang. We have a quorum, 14 present.
Great, thank you very much. If anyone could take a look at the May 8th minutes, I'll have a motion to accept, change, the case may be. Motion to approve. Mr. Byrne, seconded. Mr. O'Para, all in favor? All opposed? Any opposed? So moved. First thing, that's Suffolk Skanska presentation. Mr. Dow?
Good evening. Ms. Sanchang from Suffolk will proceed with the presentation on current state of construction.
Good evening, everyone. So just starting with Phase 3 construction update, working from Building C top down, up on the roof. Just final RTU connections is ongoing right now in preparation for startup of the MEP equipment. And then on to level 3 and 2 is pretty much the same. Level 3, we started with flooring. Level 2, flooring as well. All the finishes are going in, miscellaneous specialties. Blocks will be coming in the next 2 weeks. And then moving on to final painting next week as well on the upper floors. Moving on to level 1, just rough inspections this week, and kitchen equipment is being installed this week as well. Facade on the east elevation, cost of masonry started with the window heads and jambs. Next week, we're also going to do curtain wall and stair L. And then once school is out, we're going to start the masonry demo at stair J. The North Bridge right now is just metal panel installation that's ongoing. And then moving on to the Building A historic building, starting from top down as well. The mechanical penthouse wall inspection is ongoing, and then starting next week, we're gonna start the framing and drywall, which will follow up with the equipment pads being poured, and then the actual equipment coming the first week of July. And then on level 3, just ceiling finishes right now. Next week, we're gonna start with the terrazzo demo, the existing terrazzo demo at the door frames. Level 1, taping and sanding is ongoing. Ceiling grids are starting to go up. In the basement the new slab has been poured. It was poured last week. Controls are set, and now we're gonna start with the layout and framing of the walls. There's also masonry lintels that's going in the basement as well. In the auditorium right now, it's just plaster work that's ongoing for all the MEP trenchings. The wall plaster is also ongoing. And the elevator shaft as well. So we mobilized Delta on site, so they're gonna start with the elevator in Building A. Any questions on progress?
Any questions? Mr. Fiato, everything going as smooth as possible?
Yeah, we meet on a regular basis with Jim and his team, and we met today about doing a back-to-school video, so we'll have a video for students on, before they return to school, so they can be aware of the changes that'll be taking place on the campus, the positive changes. So I don't have anything immediate right now.
Good. Mr. Dowd? Next.
I believe MBWB.
Okay, MWBE update. The total minority workforce is currently at 26.8%, which equates to about 993 workers on site and 217,000 hours. Project goal is 15.3, so we're far exceeding the minority workforce. The female workforce, we're currently at 5.2%. This is slowly creeping up every month. We have about 149 female workers, which is about 41,000 hours. The project goal is 6.9%, so we're a little below that right now. And then the total construction Lowell residents, we're at 9.32%. That's 154 workers, which is about 72,000 hours.
Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Got any questions, thoughts, or concerns? Mr. Dowd?
On to the budget. Current budget, as we've always said, the $21.2 million in contingency is what we track very closely. We've had 34 change orders to date, totaling just over $16 million. That leaves $5.1 million remaining. Current forecast for pending change requests is $6.3 million, not including the change requests associated with the schedule extension, which is currently being worked out with Suffolk and the subcontractors. The costs for that schedule extension will be presented to the City Council on June 24th, Tuesday night meeting. We will not be presenting those costs. They're still a work in progress this evening. They're going to go to the City Council on the 24th. Total $178 million has been received from the MSBA. We'll actually have a large request going in the next couple of weeks, which Mr. Baldwin, I'm sure, will be happy with. And moving on to the overall budget, May requisition, which was just finalized today, is going to be $5.9 million. That'll be sent to the city for payment early next week. As I said, we've spent $278 million today to date, and we have encumbered $369 million. That is the state of the budget. Any questions?
Questions, thoughts, or concerns in regards to the budget? Once again, understanding that by June 24th, we will be before the City Council for the final wrap-up of numbers. So anything that's germane to what Mr. Dowd has presented, any questions, any thoughts, any concerns?
Well, Mr. Dowd, do you think that we'll be able to turn that pro pay around before June 30th, or are we looking at probably seeing the reimbursement after July 1st? Do you have any?
We can get it there. I don't think the MSBA, I highly doubt would get that turned around that quick.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dello?
Just going off Manager Golden's point, knowing and expecting now on the June 24th council meeting that we'll finally be getting that number. But, just as a Lowell resident, as a taxpayer, I think a lot of people have questions as to why it took so long. Just for, clarification, what were the steps that you and your team had to take to get to the number, knowing that obviously we're going to be over budget? What were the steps that you had to take, and why did it take so long? But obviously expecting now that we'll be getting it soon.
We had to get, first, we had to get the bulletin issued. We had to redo the schedule. The schedule is, 150 pages?
Yes.
It's gigantic. That had to be redone. That had to be sent to the subcontractors for them to digest it and to then price how their pricing was going to change. It also took well over a month to get pricing from the subcontractors. subcontractors, which Ms. San Chung deals with every day, that can be, sometimes getting pricing out of them can be challenging, so that's a time-consuming effort. Suffolk had to put their numbers together, others had to put their numbers together, we had to put an estimate together for contingency. All of this takes time, and that's why it took a long time to put this together, to look to get it correct. Thank you.
Were those, this is John Haley, were all those costs segregated of all the time and effort that was put in to create that new schedule and cost estimates and everything? Is that all segregated so, and will be part of the change order?
The cost for putting the change order together, those have not, by Suffolk, they have not segregated the effort by their staff. They have other costs within the current timeframe for those efforts that it's included within.
So is the city paying for those costs to put all that information together?
A lot of it's being performed by people who are already on contract to be here administering the project.
All right, so they are them. The city is paying for that then. Okay.
Thank you.
Just let the committee know that Mr. Samaras has joined us as well, and Representative Elliott has joined us. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Questions, thoughts, concerns in regards to any other budget matters? Questions, thoughts, concerns in regards to any of the budget matters? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Bahu?
Sure. We're going extensively over budget, clearly says right here. And it sounds like there are some numbers that are being looked at. I'm sure you probably have some type of knowledge on what those numbers may be. Let me ask you, we have subcontractors that are each giving you numbers and you're sort of putting them all together. Is there some type of auditor that looks at those numbers to make sure that those bids are within range of what's to be expected for like a floor? Or it sounds like, now, is it the floor that's essentially the overall cost that's bringing the budget over by an extensive amount?
No, it's the extension of time that is the major cost. The floor is what pushed us over. Once we are over, it's the extension of time that we're going to be on the project for an additional year is primarily wherein the costs lie. The auditing is, which we refer to as change order review, that is first performed by Suffolk, in which they go through extensively through all the quotes from the subcontractors. They push back on them. They get revised quotes. They then submit them to the OPM team and the design team. We then go through them. The architect also sends, if it's a structural change, they will send that to the structural engineer for review of the costs. Mechanical change, that goes to the mechanical engineer. And I can assure you, as I've said many times, those change orders are thoroughly vetted, and we have meetings with Suffolk and with subcontractors, and I can tell you the review of costs is thoroughly vetted by the team, and those can be some very tense meetings. In fact, we just had a very tense meeting from 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon in which we were advocating on behalf of the city.
When the costs are vetted, the team looks at it. Time, you're saying time is essentially what's making everything cost so much. Are some of these costs based on tariffs and the feel of what's happening in the American economy right now? Or are we getting, you know, these subcontractors that have been working with us? Are they giving you a fair price? And I understand that Suffolk is looking at that, right? But I understand nobody knows what's happening within the next year. So are they baking in added costs based on time that they don't know what costs are going to be?
There are tariffs that are not, tariffs have not been included in these costs. We're making sure they're not included in the costs. We are keeping an eye on tariffs. That would be an escalation cost. We've reviewed the contract, and that would be something that is not covered. Regarding items being procured a year later, typical escalation from year to year is 3 to 4%, and we're making sure that any of the escalation that is included for those materials is for the 1 year from 26 to 27 of 3 to 4%.
Are we, is it allowable for us to use other contractors to bid on this? Or are we totally committed to the contractors that have been currently on this project?
We would not be able to put that out to bid. The scope is very detailed, already contracted, and it's basically additional costs for existing work that we have contracted for, which, like I said, 3 to 4% for materials. Labor typically goes up $3 to $5 an hour with the state prescribed prevailing wage rates. So we're making sure everything, all the additional costs are within those parameters.
And by being delayed, it's not just the floor, it's also the auditorium as well. That's part of the delay, correct?
The auditorium was under delay. We will be putting Phase 4 will be it was supposed to be completed on June 1 of '26. It will now be completed on June 1 of '27.
That's the floor and the beams and the supports, correct?
That's all of the scope of Phase 4. Phase 4 is the complete renovation of the 1892 building and the southern portion of the 1922 building.
And maybe I didn't hear the answer. Does this include the auditorium?
The auditorium is to be complete in December of this year.
December of this year. And that is part of the cost overrun as well, correct? Based on time?
Partially. We are getting really into the weeds here. All of this work was to take place between now and June 1 of '26. The ad is for June 1 of '26 to June 1 of '27. If scope doesn't fall in there, some are requesting changes before then. We are pushing back on that. I can assure you, we are thoroughly vetting these and pushing back on the cost to get the fairest deal for the city.
Okay, we're looking forward to hearing what that fair number is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, thoughts, or concerns in regards to the budget? Mr. Samaras, Representative Elliott first, and then Mr. Samaras.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Manager. Thank you. Mr. Dowd, you had mentioned that the majority of, well, let me ask you, the cost increases for the floor. The majority of the costs are not the floor, it's the delay in time. Could you just elaborate a little bit more why the actual floor is a certain amount, but the increase is a result of the delay in time? Does that make sense?
Yes. You have all of the subcontractors. You have Suffolk with a large staff. You have Skanska, Perkins, Eastman. You have all of these people that are going to be on the job for an extra year. You have subcontractors that the cost of materials is going up. You have subcontractors that the duration of the job, while the scope is the same for the work being put in place, you're going to have foremen. They're going to be staffing the job with a non-working foreman for an extra year, and that is wherein the costs lie.
So while the additional work for the basement is being performed, the contract has to continue to carry those indirect costs of individuals that may not be performing labor services, labor.
It's for the
Right.
for the schedule extension of 1 year for the people that are gonna be here, the non-working ones, that the duration of the time that they are going to be on site is gonna be extended by 1 year.
But they won't be working.
They will be working, the supervision, the subcontractors had it factored in to have a foreman supervising the work for 6 years. They are now going to be supervising that work for 7 years. The physical amount of work that is being put in place is the same, which should take the same amount of labor hours for them to perform, albeit the work that is performed in 26, 27 will be at a higher rate, which is typically $3 to $5. So those would be paying $3 to $5 additional for those hours of work being put in place.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Thank you for that,
You're
that
welcome.
explanation.
Mr.
Jim, could you just verify that $3 to $5 is all we're gonna pay for that extra, that foreman being out there for that extra year?
The $3 to $5 is for the work being put in place. The foreman time is full rate.
But you already have that covered in the budget. They're just not on site, right? I mean, why would they be on site if no work for that contractor is happening? Why would you be paying?
Some subcontractors, that is the case. You have some other contractors that are here nearly all the time, and those subcontractors are the ones that are submitting foreman costs.
That will be broken out in the cost estimate, the difference between the ones that are just charging because their work is put into the future versus the ones that are being charged because they're adding a full year to their coverage.
The full package, once costs are finalized, will be provided to the city. We're going to be what is going to be presented to the city is going to be an estimate of increased costs based on what we've received. The time frame we have to negotiate, there's 51 subcontractors, there's Suffolk. That is going to go well into the summer to make sure that we take the time to thoroughly vet it, go back and forth with them, and get the best value for the city.
All set, Mr. Haley?
Yeah.
Mr. Samaras?
Thank you. Mr. Dowd, I had previously asked you a question regarding scheduling of the students. And the issue is you have to schedule the students in a safe environment, and that's part of the issue that you're dealing with, correct?
That is correct, Mr.
The number of
Morris.
students. And I asked you if some type of alternative scheduling could be done. Would that help? And you informed us that you've thought of just about every possible way at this point, correct?
That is correct. We met extensively with Mr. Fiato, with Superintendent Skinner, and other school staff on every possible way we could get this done. And we've also reviewed it with the city manager's office. And this is the best way to proceed forward for all parties involved.
Okay. The thing is, I would imagine the scheduling was done was, we'll say, a normal type of scheduling, but there also can be exotic scheduling. I'll give you an example. At one point, we had construction at the high school, and I had actually 3,800 students at the time. And the superintendent informed me that the freshman class would be moved out of the high school while the construction took place. He changed his mind and said, schedule a high school, but they're all going to stay within the high school. I had to schedule high school every, basically 4 to 6 months. I had to change the schedule for a 3,800 student school, okay? What I'm trying to get at, if we could come up with something which could remove, we'll say, 1,000 students out of the high school. Just saying, a class made up of 1,000 students. Could that make a difference within the construction at the high school? Or is it no matter?
At this point, that would not, we could not do that. We've gone down the road that we're going down, and that would not change, because we still need to move into the high school with everyone, move everyone around. When we can turn the school, to do a final move into this school is gonna turn the school upside down, and that needs to be done over a summer. Doing that, we looked at doing that over a vacation, when we move out of the freshman academy.
Well, the thing is, you can explain that to me, but I had to do it in a week, okay? I had to move 3,800 students in a week. It wasn't like I was given a choice. I had to do it. There's always something that can be done. I'm just saying, would it, if it was possible, could that make a difference? That's all.
At this point, no, and I can assure you, we spent hours with Mr. Fiato, Mr. Smulligan, Mr. Skinner, looking at every possible option, and this is the only option we could proceed with.
Fine.
Thank you, Mrs. Maris. Any other questions? Any other questions at this time? Mr. Dowd, SBC summary? Are you going to jump through that for the May 2025?
We usually leave that, just
You know if there's anything else you have on that?
attachment, next steps are, last day of school is next Monday. Suffolk's gonna hit the ground running, on Tuesday with temporary walls coming down in the 1980s building. We've got movers coming in, moving as many people as we can out of the 1922 building. That'll be going into the 1980s building. It's gonna be a strong summer, and that starts next Tuesday. Students are out, I believe, midday on Monday, and we're gonna hit the ground running as soon as the last one leaves.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dowd. I want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Captain Peasley joining us earlier. I apologize, Captain, for not getting you earlier. You've been bouncing double duty here. So, and under new business or anything that, any other questions that need to be asked? Are there any other questions? Yes.
Speaking about the progress that we hope to make in the summer, is it possible if we're able to like schedule like another way to like see the progress being done at the end of the summer?
For a tour of the school?
Yeah, like we did last time.
Certainly.
Thank
We're also, Mr. Fiato is also working on a, you're actually going to be involved in it.
I think
we're
Mr.
gonna
Fiato's starring in the video.
No,
Just for like the other
You
members.
don't know this yet, but you're
It's
also-
it's already in everyone's calendar. We're gonna film a welcome back to school video of the new areas on, I believe, August 6th.
Great, thank you.
Hopefully you're not going away, Ms. Langs, because, okay. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, or anything that could be considered new business? Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, or anything that could be considered new business? Seeing none at this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Mis-
moved.
Mr. Baldwin, Mr. St. Cyr, all in favor of adjourning? Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you all very much for once again being here. School Building Committee meeting, June 12th, 2025.
Thank you.